manufacturers have been doing some amazing things with regards to performance vehicles as of late. And Ford is no different, with their vehicles such as the Fiesta ST, the Mustang GT and Shelby editions, as well as the F-150 Raptor. We're going to see if that trend continues with their compact hatchback sedans. I'm Chris from AutoAcademics, and today we're going to take a look at the 2014 Ford Focus ST. When we think about performance vehicles, gas-guzzling, tire-shredding, V8 engine muscle cars typically come to mind. However, today's fuel-conscious consumers want more environmentally responsible vehicles, but not necessarily at the sacrifice of performance. And this is where Ford has provided an answer, as our ingot silver 2014 Ford Focus ST vies for tactical advantage in this current-gen pony car war. Now, some might argue our use of the term pony car when describing a compact hatchback, but take into consideration our tester's starting MSRP of $23,625, as well as the fact that a number of other entries in the current crop of enlisted make over 250 horsepower. When compared with the new gen Mustangs and Camaro's supercar-like horsepower with M.S.R.Ps and Convoy, these new recruits have earned their ranks. Now, as we take a look up front, you can see that the Focus ST has a one-piece trapezoidal grille with hexagonal mesh, and it's flanked with fog lights on each side. Helping the Focus ST sport suspension do its job are 18-inch Y-spoke alloy wheels that are wrapped in 235/40 series Goodyear Eagle F1 summer tires. Now, we mustn't forget that when you've got a lot of power and speed, you've got to be able to rein all of that in as well. And the Focus ST has high-performance disc brakes that are in both the front and the rear. In back, the performance exhaust has a central dual pipe design, and if we open the hatch, you'll see that you get even more flexibility with the 60/40 split folding rear seat. Under the hood is a turbocharged direct injection 2-liter inline 4-cylinder engine that makes 252 horsepower and 270 pound-feet of torque, and has made it to a standard 6-speed manual transmission that powers the front wheels. Ford's own torque vectoring control is present to help keep all this power under control. 0 to 60 is achieved in about 6.1 seconds, with the quarter mile ending in 14.5 seconds at 97.2 miles per hour. Fuel economy is rated at 23 miles per gallon city, 32 miles per gallon highway, with a combined rating of 26 miles per gallon. Premium fuel is recommended. Now let's take a look inside. Now, as we take a seat inside of this Focus ST, there are a few things that are worth mentioning and taking a look at. First and foremost, you have the custom designed Recaro seats. They're very supportive, and they'll definitely hold you in your seats when you're driving aggressively. You've got your sport steering wheel in front of you that is leather wrapped and is thickly padded. You can get a good grip on that. And just at the top of the dash, you also have some special gauges that show you oil temperature, they'll show you turbo boost, and they'll show you your oil pressure readings as well. Now, as we take a look at the infotainment unit, this car does have Ford's Sync, and you know, that works pretty decently with all the voice controls with your smartphone. But then it also has a Sony audio system that is 10 speaker, 355 watts with a nice size subwoofer in the hatch. Sounds pretty good too. This car also has dual automatic climate control, which, you know, when you're getting hot and heavy on the road, it allows you to stay cool. Finally, you'll notice the aluminum shifter as well as the pedals down there on the floor. And just like its little brother, the Fiesta ST, that's the only way this car comes. So if you're not good at shifting your own gears, you might want to get some lessons. Now in back, there's ample room for 2 adults. And I know you're wondering, But Chris, what about car seats? You always have car seats in the back. Yeah, I don't have them this time, but believe me, there's enough room for those too. All right, I don't know about you, but I think that's enough talk, and it's time to start driving. All right, now, when driving this Focus ST, one of the first things that you're going to notice is just how aggressive the car is. You know, you get in these Recaro seats, they really hug you. If you've got a large build, these seats are gonna be pretty snug for you. And so, you know, that might be something to take into consideration as you're checking off the options list. Now, this car is aggressive, but having driven the Fiesta ST prior to this, having tested that first, this car actually doesn't feel as hardcore, or, and I don't even want to say hardcore because that's probably not the word for it, but it doesn't feel as rigid and stiff as the Fiesta does. And I don't know if it's because this has a larger wheelbase or whatever, you know, so it tends to soak up the bumps a little easier, it tends to, you know, just be a little smoother. But the Fiesta actually was a little more harsh than this car is. And that's part of what made that car so much fun. But then that's also what makes this car actually very enjoyable to drive. It makes it a little easier to deal with on a day-to-day basis because you're not bouncing around everywhere like you might tend to do in the Fiesta. One thing that does make this car stand out is its 2-liter 4-cylinder engine. It's turbocharged, it has EcoBoost technology, and it makes 252 horsepower and 270 pound-feet of torque. Now, that's a lot of torque for a front-wheel drive car, and although this car does have torque vectoring technology in it, it seems to have a little more difficulty reining in some of that torque than it does on the Fiesta ST. When you really get on the gas, you can feel those wheels tugging on the steering wheel, whereas you don't get as much of that when you're driving the Fiesta ST home. Also, to put that torque into a nice category so that you understand, those of you who might remember the old late 80s 5.0 Mustangs that Ford used to make, those actually made 300 pound-feet of torque to the rear wheels. And you know, those were some of the best bang for the buck cars that were available at that time. This car makes 270 to the front wheels. 270. So we've addressed the power of this Focus ST, and now we've got to talk about the handling. And this car handles really well. You know, it's agile. It's not quite as agile as the Fiesta ST, but partly because of the extra weight that this car has. The nice thing is, with these sticky summer tires, you still get some really good traction, and when you're going through tight corners, you can get that rear end to rotate around for you, and it can be a whole lot of fun. Now, I personally have had the opportunity to drive both the Fiesta ST and the Focus ST on a closed autocross course, and I think that's why I have such a deep appreciation for both of these vehicles. You know, I was able to push them to their limits, as well as some of my own, and really see what both of these cars are able to do. So, I guess all that's left to say is how we at AutoAcademics feel about this car. I know personally, I like the Focus ST a lot. You know, you might wonder, do I like it as much as I like the Fiesta? And yeah, I do. But the difference is, I like it in a little bit of a different way. You know, that one was agile, it was light, the handling was really nice on it. And this one, it's not about those things as much. It still handles really good, but this one, it's all about that extra power, that extra horsepower and torque that this little 2-liter engine is able to provide you. And that's the stuff that puts a smile on my face. And, you know, I mean, again, you know, I listen to the exhaust sound and the engine notes, and I just have a ball with it. So, with that being said, I'm not even going to stop to do my closing. I'm going to end right here. First from AutoAcademics.